Hey everyone, Mike here from DGR, bringing you my review of Paramore's self-titled album, Paramore. This album is set to hit the market on April 9th, 2013, but I was able to get a leak on April 1st, meaning I have listened to it about 4 or 5 times through since my first playthrough on April 3rd, 2013. Before I get into my opinions about this album, I should explain a brief history about the band's development cycle for the past few years. In September 2009, Paramore released their third studio album, Brand New Eyes. This album stayed on track with the same emo post-punk style from before, but this time they played with a little bit more variety to the music, with their addition of Taylor York as a rhythm guitarist. This album also started a sound variation with songs like Misguided Ghosts, All I Wanted, and The Only Exception, which at the time were the slowest songs Paramore had added to their conglomerate setlist. Being relatively short at only 10 songs, this album was a commercial success, leading them to go on tour. I actually got to see them while they were part of the Honda Civic tour, and kept writing and producing new material. Since the past 3 albums were released in intervals of 2 years, I was expecting something new around fourth quarter 2011, but due to Zach and Josh Farah's departure in 2010, this work essentially was put in development hell. In 2011, they released 4 singles that were put together to make Singles Club. Unfortunately, all 4 singles are god-awful, and I would advise all watching this to never go within 10 sites of anywhere this EP is posted. Now, about 3.5 years after Brand New Eyes, we have their 4th studio LP, Paramore. And let me say, I loved it. This album stayed on track with the same sounds as Brand New Eyes while also adding some new experimental type stuff. There are some really good things about it in terms of sound and variation, but there are also definitely some downsides, but despite all of this, it was worth the 4 years in development. Now, without further ado, let's dive right into the finally developed 17 songs long Paramore. To start off, we have a song called Fasten My Car. This song starts off incredibly upbeat and really brings back Paramore's sound while adding a little bit of electronics, which works out very well with Hayley Williams' voice. This song is kind of reminiscent of My Chemical Romance's Danger Days, The True Lives of the Fabulous Killjoys, an album that is definitely on my good side. I like it, and it definitely gives the album a badass start. After this, we get Now. Despite being the first single from this album, it's nothing too special, and quite frankly, I don't like it that much, so let's move on. Then we get Grow Up. Again, nothing too special, but it does kind of remind me of Cheryl White's Want You Back, which is not good at all. Saying that, there's nothing to talk about. Next, we have Daydreaming, and this song also just isn't very good. There's something wrong with the audio I have, and I hope this doesn't happen to anyone having the official album, but Hayley Williams' voice just isn't loud enough in this file. And the problem with this is that it's the lead singer's voice, so if the lead singer's voice isn't distinct enough, it's just going to throw the whole song off. Frankly, it's not that good anyway, so I don't really care. This album introduces 3 interludes. To start, we have Moving On, and I actually like this one. The song is very short, and it's only 1.5 minutes long, but it's just Hayley Williams singing with a ukulele, and she does a good job. As far as I know, it's the first time she's ever really done this on a studio album, and it works. It's a short little song at only 1.5 minutes, and it's definitely nice to listen to right in the middle of this album. However, she added 2 more of these, and the other 2 are stupid. I mean, really stupid. I don't like either of them at all. Next, we have Part 2. It sounds a little bit like a Panic at the Disco song, and I kind of don't know where I stand with this. I do like Panic at the Disco, but Panic's, they're just not good. This song, I like it, I can say that. Less Hope is kind of like something, is like the song All I Wanted from Brand New Eyes, but it's a little bit faster and a little bit more upbeat. It's not great though. Moving on. Still Into You is stupid. I really don't like to hear Hayley Williams Taylor Swift all over the place. Seriously, it's ridiculous. Stop. A song I forgot to mention earlier is a song called Ain't It Fun. And let me say, I really like this song. This sounds something off of All We Know Is Falling or Riot, and everything but the glockenspiel sounds are really just like how we used to know the band. I really wish more of the albums sounded like this, and because they really put all of their effort into songs like this. I really wish that Paramore put this type of sound on the album more, because this is one of the best songs I've heard from them to date. Now we have Ankle Biters, which is like From Pessimist I'm Pretty Optimistic from Riot. This song was the same fast-paced tune we all like from this band, and I love it right there with Ain't It Fun. Again, they put a lot of work into this song, and it shows, so great job to them for that. The last decent song on this album is a song called Be Alone, which unfortunately is just decent. After all, it's just sort of interludes and plain shit. I really don't understand why bands like this can't just take the 11 or 12 good, decent songs and put them on this album instead of putting all this other shit on. Seriously, it pisses everybody off. Anybody who knows me knows damn well that I listen to a lot of music, and that I definitely know my sounds. I can understand that this band has some issues with production, but this has been in production for 4 years. You would think by now that they would have their shit together. This band was really good about producing albums that you could like, all but 1 or 2 songs on their album, if you like the sound. But this just sort of throws away the streak. This album has 17 songs. Either make all 17 good, or only take your 12 satisfactory songs and put them on your album. It's really just not that hard. Now, after all the crappy publicity this band has gotten over the past 2 or so years, and after coming out of development hell, I can say that this is a pretty solid album, and some of the best I've heard so far this year. Unfortunately, that doesn't say a whole lot, because most of the stuff I've heard this year is pretty crappy. The way it sounds is very similar to their classic Essential sound, and they work very well with only 3 members, plus the other employees and touring members. I think Hayley Williams did a pretty solid job harmonizing with herself. Despite Hayley Williams not being a very melodic singer, she did about as good as a job as she would have done with the other albums that she already released. However, I'm a little bit dreading the self-vocalizing songs on tour, but I can still say that I thoroughly enjoy this album. That said, I give this album a 3 out of 5. It's definitely much better than the expectation, but unfortunately, it's not really that great of an album anyway. I really hope I can see them live when they actually tour for this album. This has been Mike from DGR. Keep your ears peeled for my review of Revo by Walk Off the Earth. And don't forget to check out our Facebook and Twitter pages, and hit the subscribe button down below to keep posted on all of our reviews on new music and movies coming out soon.